Okay, welcome back to Reverse Engineering Wattpad. Today we are doing chapters 8, 9, 10, and 11, which are, the titles are The Truth, The Eyes Don't Lie, Everything About You, and Girl Talk.
Some pretty good chapters. I just want to put this in the beginning of the video instead of like last week's where it was at the end. There is a playlist in the description with all of the videos we've done so far in order in case you're joining us on this one and want to find them easy peasy. It's just down there in the description. So join us on our adventure.
All right, let's get rolling here.
Okay. Chapter 8, The Truth. Rosalind Jasmine Sapphire's point of view. My alarm went off at 6 a.m. in the morning, waking me so I could get ready for, wait a minute, 6 a.m.? I don't set my alarm that early. Confused, I double-checked the time. Sure enough, it was 6 a.m. But then I realized that it wasn't my alarm clock that was going off. Now I'm even more confused, I thought.
Rosalind Jasmine Sapphire, Raven said in a sing-song voice. Time to get up.
I groaned and turned to face her. She was standing right over my bed with her alarm clock going off. Raven, what are you doing? I asked, not understanding what was going on.
It's 6 a.m., she responded with a big smile. Didn't anyone ever tell you that you can never be too early?
Suddenly, I realized that she was playing a joke on me, throwing my own words back in my face. Raven, I exclaimed, that is so not nice of you. I threw my pillow at her, and she laughed and dodged out of the way. I stuck my tongue out at her.
Oh, come on, I'm just having a bit of fun with my roommate, she said, sitting down at her desk. She checked herself out in the big mirror she had on the wall over her desk and started touching up her makeup. I noticed that she was wearing the same outfit as the one she had worn to the party last night.
Raven? I asked. You're in the same outfit as last night. Didn't you change when you got home?
I only just got home, she said happily. I gasped. Had she really been out all night? I wish she would stuck around, she went on, running a brush through her black, red, and purple locks. You'll come out for the next party, right?
No, that was it for me. I am never going to another party for as long as I live, I said, really meaning it.
Author's note. Yeah, okay, sure. Winky face, winky face, winky face, winky face. Well, you should have come with us last night. Spike and Ace and I ended up leaving that party and going to one that the real frats were throwing. It was such a good time. She stood up and twirled around in the middle of the room. I sat up in my bed, concern on my face.
You mean you stayed out all night with Ace and Spike?
Yeah, that's what I just said, she said, looking at me. Girl, we need to work on your partying skills and your listening skills.
But Spike, I began.
What about Spike?
Well, how did you find him at the first party? I mean, after he left us at the start, I didn't see him again.
Raven put her finger on her lips, deep in thought. Yeah, he was gone for a while, wasn't he? But he came and found me eventually. Ace was with him, so we all left at that point.
But...
What? Just spit it out, Rosalind Jasmine Sapphire.
I took a really deep breath. Should I tell her? I thought. You have to tell her. She's your roommate and your friend. I remembered how Grandma Rose always used to say that a true friend would be open to hearing the truth from each other no matter what, even when it hurt a bit. And Raven had been so good to me so far. I couldn't just not be there for her when she needed it. Raven, I began uncertainly. Before we left the party, Arnie tried to find Spike to get the car keys so we could get my coat. Well, he couldn't get the keys from Spike because he said that Spike was, well, he was paying some chick who was not you.
Raven looked at me in complete shock. I braced myself for her reaction. What do you mean Spike was banging some chick who was not me? She asked, her voice wavering.
Arnie said that...
Oh, of course, Raven exclaimed, suddenly sounding angry. Of course Arnie said that. I should have known.
What? I asked. I couldn't understand what she meant.
Oh, come on, Raven said, putting her hands on her hips and glaring at me. I clutched my stuffed giraffe tightly. Isn't it obvious why Arnie would have made something up like that?
Arnie wouldn't lie. He saw Spike with another girl.
Wake up, Rosalind Jasmine Sapphire. Arnie is obviously into you.
What? I practically shouted. Arnie isn't into me. He's just a nice guy.
He's clearly in love with you, and that's probably why he made up a lie about Spike to make himself look better to you, she yelled.
I couldn't believe what she was saying. Raven, first of all, Arnie is not in love with me. We're just friends. And second, come on. Do you really think he or I would lie to you? Can't you see what kind of a person Spike is?
Spike isn't a bad person. He's just a work in progress, that's all. And I'm going to rescue him, and he knows that, and that's why he would never cheat on me.
But Raven...
Besides, what would you know about it? You've never even had a boyfriend, have you? What do you know about guys? Growing up all safe and protected in your perfect little pipe cleaner animal kingdom.
I felt the tears come to my eyes like hot geysers. Hey, I said, you can say what you want about me, but don't be mean to my pipe cleaner animals. They never hurt anyone. I immediately looked over to my One Direction poster of the band in the alley, but I couldn't even see clearly through the tears in my eyes. I jumped off my bed, grabbed something off my desk, and ran out of the room crying really loudly. I slammed the door behind me.
Heavy stuff.
Yeah. Chapter 9. The Eyes Don't Lie. Rosalind Jasmine Sapphire's point of view. After I slammed the door, I immediately collapsed to my knees, still crying. I was clutching something to my chest, the thing I had grabbed off my desk on the way out of my room. I slowly held it away from me and looked at it, down at it through my tears. It was the picture of my mom and me making the pipe cleaner giraffe together. I miss you so much right now, Mom, I thought, my tears hitting the protective paint over the picture and rolling down on it like raindrops from the future. College is not what I thought it would be. What would you do? I need your help.
Rosie? I heard a voice say from down the hallway.
It's not Rosie. I couldn't even get through it without crying even more. I looked down the hallway to see who was there. It was Ace. Of course, I thought. Ace walked up to me. He was still dressed in the same outfit from last night too, just like Raven.
What are you doing? He asked.
I sniffed and wiped some tears away. I was gonna go out for a bit, I said, my voice really shaky. Ace got up to me, then reached down and pulled me up to my feet with his strong arms. I had to struggle not to gasp at how out loud when he touched me, because it made my heart pound. He stood me up and we locked eyes for what seemed like a really long time. Then his eyes moved up and down my body a couple of times before setting back on mine.
Dressed like that? He asked.
This time I absolutely did gasp out loud. I had completely forgotten to change out of my sleeping clothes before I ran out of my room. I was dressed in a gray tank top with an elephant, a giraffe, and a flamingo on it, dark blue pajama pants, and gray socks with little mice on them. On top of that, I hadn't even had a chance to brush out my hair after sleeping on it. Oh my gosh! I exclaimed, turning as red as my hair, looking down at myself. I look like a nightmare.
No, you don't, he said quietly.
What? I asked, looking back up at him.
You don't look like a nightmare, he said. You look, well...
Yes? I asked, stepping closer to him.
He was quiet for a moment, then shook his head. Nothing. Never mind, he finally said. Is Raven around?
She's in her room, I said, pointing at the door. Why?
I need to tell her something, he said, a cold resolve coming to his face.
About what? I asked.
I could see him struggling with whether or not to tell me, but finally he just shook his head again. Nothing. It was a mistake coming here like this, he said, and then he turned and started walking away.
Hey, I called, going after him. Hey, don't you walk away from me, Ace Pike. Why did you come here?
Sometimes you're really nosy, you know that? He shot back at me without turning around.
I caught up to him and grabbed his arm, stopping him. I forced him to turn back around to me. His face had the same struggle on it. Raven said that when she found Spike at the first party, you were with him, I said, looking right into his eyes, even as he tried to look away. That's what you were coming to tell her, wasn't it? You know that he was banging some chick who was not her.
He began, still not able to meet my fierce gaze. I don't know what you're talking about, he finally finished.
Yes, you do, I said, reaching up with my hand, taking his jaw and turning his face so he couldn't look away anymore. There was pain in his eyes. You know what happened last night, and you came to tell Raven because deep down, you're a really good person.
Ace forced himself out of my grasp, backing away. You don't know anything about me, he said in a strained voice. You have no idea what kind of person I am. Where do you get off calling me a good person?
I saw it in your eyes last night, I said softly, taking his hand in mine. I saw it in your eyes when I was holding your hand in the ice bowl, and I see it in your eyes while I'm holding your hand now. You may have everyone else fooled, but you can't fool me, Ace Pike. You're a good person.
His hand was shaking a little as I held it. He looked down at it, then slowly moved those amber orbs of his back up to mine. The last person to call me that, he said really quietly. The last person to call me that died when I was 12 years old.
Who was it? I asked.
He looked away again. My mom, he said. She died of 37 different kinds of cancer. Breast cancer, pancreatic cancer, 35 other kinds too.
Oh my God! I exclaimed. That's exactly how my mom died too, in that exact same order.
Author's note. Bet you didn't see that one coming. I know I didn't. Ace looked back at me. Maybe we have more in common than we realized, he said.
Yeah, maybe, I agreed. Suddenly, a really awkward silence fell over us both. It was broken when I felt something bump into me from behind. Hey, I yelled.
Well, that's what you get for standing in front of the door to the showers, said a girl from the dorm, walking out wrapped only in a towel. She had opened the door right into me. She started walking around me back to the door to her room, but slowed down when she saw Ace. She gave him a sultry smile as she went.
Unbelievable, I thought. How could she be trying to flirt with him when she's only wearing a towel? When she finished walking to her room, Ace and I looked back at each other.
You know what I was about to say earlier, he asked, about you not looking like a nightmare?
Yes, I asked.
Do you want to know what I was going to say?
Yes, I said, feeling myself begin to blush.
Ace smirked. Then you're going to have to go out with me this Friday night, he said.
I think the sound of my jaw hitting the floor must have woken up everyone in the entire dorm. What? I gasped. I think I almost melted on the spot.
I'll pick you up outside the dorm at 5 p.m. Don't be late.
And before I could say anything, he turned and walked away. When he got to the door at the end of the hall, he turned back around and looked at me with the same smirk on his face.
Remember what I said? He asked. Then he pointed to himself and said, Magic! And then he was through the door and gone.
My head was spinning. Had he just asked me out on a date when I looked just about the worst I ever have in my entire life?
Author's note. Author's note. It's just like they said, Rosalind Jasmine Sapphire. You don't know you're beautiful. Happy face.
My heart was pounding at about 1,000,000 miles a minute. I really wanted to talk to someone about what had just happened, but who could I talk to? Raven was still mad at me, so I couldn't talk to her. I had told Arnie that I could never be friends with Ace. How could I explain going on a date with him? Grandma Rose was my best friend, but could I talk to her about boys? She was my grandma. I looked down at the picture I was still holding. Talk to me, Mom, I said quietly. Please tell me what to do.
Author's note. Ooh, could Rosalind Jasmine Sapphire have been right all along? Maybe Ace really is a good person after all. Where would Ace even take her for a date? Let me know what you think in the comments, and please keep reading because I heart all of you so much! Exclamation marks, ones, etc.
Oh, that was great. Chapter 10, Everything About You. Rosalind Jasmine Sapphire's point of view. That Friday, I spent an hour going through my closet looking for the perfect shirt to wear on my date with Ace. I was so excited I couldn't stop smiling. I didn't know why I was so excited. It was Ace after all. I half expected him to not show up and to laugh about it later. I looked at the picture of my mom. What do? I asked, wondering what the right choice to make. Would she want me to go on this date? I still hadn't told Grandma Rose. I didn't know what she would think about my date with Ace either. Raven was still ignoring me after I told her that Spike was banging some chick who was not her. There was no one for me to talk to, no one to help me prepare for my date. I had never been asked out before. This was all new to me. I pulled out my favorite dark green giraffe shirt. On it, there was a giraffe with a sloth hanging off his neck, with a speech bubble saying, "Let's hang around." That felt right. I wore some black skinny jeans and white Toms. Then I went over to Raven's mirror and tied my hair up, but didn't like the way it looked. Why do I have to look so boring? I wondered. I tried a few other hairstyles, like a messy bun, but couldn't decide on anything that looked good. Is getting ready for a date always like this? I finally decided to let my hair down. I checked my phone and realized it was almost 5. I grabbed my purse and ran from the room. I couldn't be late for my first date. Ace was already there when I got out of the dorm building. I tried my best to look apologetic. "Hi, Ace," I said. "Sorry I'm late."
He checked the time. "Late by 2 minutes. I'm disappointed, Rosie."
"It's Rosalind Jasmine Sapphire," I said. How did he not know that yet?
"Whatever you say, Rosie," Ace smirked.
I crossed my arms and raised an eyebrow. "You know that's not my name."
Ace shrugged. "Of course. Should we get going?" He motioned to a sleek-looking black car. It matched his black shirt and jeans and shoes. I suddenly wondered if I should have matched my outfit too. I got in the car and so did Ace. He turned it on and an all-too-familiar voice filled the car. You know I'll be your life. Claire, I don't know this song. I don't know this song. You know I'll be your life, your voice, your reason to be, my love, my heart is breathing for this moment in time.
I felt my eyes growing wide. "This is Moments," I gasped, not believing my ears. What was Ace doing listening to the saddest One Direction song in existence?
It must just be on, Ace said casually. He went to switch the song.
No, I like this song," I said, reaching out to stop him. Our hands brushed, and I swear I felt sparks.
This song, it's so boring. Ace hit the next button and another song filled the car. And girl, you and I were about to make some memories tonight.
My eyes grew wide. Why was another One Direction song playing? "Ace, where are we going?" I asked, choosing to ignore the strange playlist Ace kept playing. Maybe he put those songs on because he knew I liked One Direction? Would Ace do that for me?
"Oh, you'll see," he smirked.
"Tell me."
"Nope, it's a surprise. But don't worry, I think you'll like it."
I crossed my arms just as I felt my purse vibrate. I pulled out my phone and saw that the screen was lit up from a text. It was Arnie asking if I wanted to study. I chewed my lip. Should I tell him I'm with Ace? I wondered.
"Feels like I'm constantly playing a game that I'm destined to lose, 'cause I can't compete with your boyfriend and he's got 27 tattoos." That's a great line. "Would he say he's an LOVE? 'Cause if it was me, then I would.
I started typing out a message but deleted it.
Would he touch you? Would he feel you? Would he love you like I would? "What's wrong?" Ace asked, glancing at the phone in my hands before looking back at the road.
Arnie wants to study together, I said.
Ace let out a scoff. What a pathetic weenie.
I laughed a little. It's not that bad, I said.
"Anyone who wants to study on a Friday is a pathetic weenie. I'm sorry, Rosie, I don't make the rules." Ace shook his head.
I covered my mouth to try and keep from laughing. Even Ace was smiling.
"But I see you with him slow dancing, tearing me apart. 'Cause you don't see, whenever you kiss him, I'm breaking. Oh, how I wish that was me."
I'd rather Be here anyways, I said. I decided Arnie could wait and put my phone back in my purse.
Good, we're almost there.
As we pulled up to the venue, my eyes grew huge with excitement. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Are we seeing One Direction? I asked as calmly as possible.
Ace smirked. I told you you'd like it.
I couldn't believe it. It was nearly impossible to get One Direction tickets. I would know. I had been trying for almost 9 years. I couldn't help but cry a little as I looked at the big banner promoting the band on the outside of the building. They were inside. Harry and Liam and Zayn and Louis and Niall. And I was going to see them.
Author's note. Because this is my story, and they are all still playing together in my story. Got it? I will fight you. Lol.
How did you get tickets? I asked, my heart just about ready to burst.
Magician never tells. Ace shrugged.
I couldn't help but reach over and hug him. Thank you, Ace.
He seemed a little shocked at the sudden contact, but quickly covered it with his usual smirk. Who's your favorite member? He asked as he parked the car. All around us, girls walked towards the venue. I couldn't believe it. We were all here to see the same band.
I love them all, but if I had to choose, it would be Niall, Liam, Louis, Harry, and then Zayn. But that is really a hard question, Ace.
He thought about it for a moment. Why is Liam second?
He's so sweet, and he's afraid of all spoons. I find that cute.
Ace scrunched up his nose. Not all spoons, just ones that aren't his.
It took me a moment to realize that Ace knew something about the band. I thought about how he had a One Direction song playing when I entered the car. How else would he know about Liam's fear of spoons? Are you a fan? I gasped.
Ace shrugged. They have some good songs.
My heart swelled with pride. Never in a million years did I think Ace would like One Direction. We got out of the car and started walking towards the venue. I could feel my body buzzing with excitement. Who's your favorite member?
Zayn, he said casually, like a real Zayn fan would.
And where is Liam on your list?
Lower than last. Somehow the majority of your gender has convinced itself that guys named Liam are sweet, sensitive Prince Charmings, and I'm here to tell you that 9 out of 10 dudes named Liam are complete assholes. Liam is an asshole name. The only reason I'm not going for 10 out of 10 is because I once knew a Liam who gave me a chocolate bar at lunch. Really, what are you girls thinking? Author's note. I am so sorry to any Liam girls out there. I love Liam, and that hurt to type out. Remember, it's just a story. I don't want to hurt your feelings, painters. I love you, Liam.
Liam is sweet and sensitive, I said to defend Liam. Just like you. I stuck my tongue out at him.
Ace shook his head. I already told you, I'm not nice.
I wanted to reach out and put an arm around him, but I didn't know if Ace would like that. How could I get him to see that he really was a sweet person under his hard exterior? Outside the venue, there was a stand to sell t-shirts. My eyes fell on the one, and I knew I had to have it. It was exactly the same poster on my bedroom. It had Harry and Liam and Zayn and Louis and Niall all standing against a wall in an alley with their arms crossed, looking slightly serious. My heart sunk when I saw the price.
$65 for a shirt? Ace asked in an angry voice. I was scared he was going to start fighting the workers.
I decided not to tell him I wanted to get one. There will be other chances, I told myself to try and make it hurt less. I took one last glance at the shirt before walking away.
Ace had our tickets ready. T-shirt forgotten, my heart was starting to hammer in my chest. One Direction lay beyond those doors, and I was going to see them. A man in a security uniform scanned our tickets and ushered us through the doors without even telling us to have a good time.
How rude, I thought. Once inside the venue, I noticed another t-shirt stand. This one had a much longer line, and the prices were the same. I tried not to let my eyes linger.
Do you want anything? Ace asked.
I peeled my eyes away from the shirt and shook my head. I'm okay, I lied.
Author's note. I would never pass up a 1D shirt.
Ace looked towards the shirts, a mysterious smirk making its way to his face.
1 second, he said, and pushed his way to the front of the line. I couldn't believe he was just going to cut the line like that. I saw Ace get right up next to a girl who had just bought the shirt I wanted. He smirked at her and began talking. I could feel my blood boiling. Was he really flirting with her? I couldn't believe it. I watched as Ace motioned to me and then turned his pockets inside out.
What is he doing? I wondered. I watched in shock as the girl handed Ace her t-shirt. He said something else to her before making his way back over to me. Ace handed me the shirt.
I saw you looking at it, he said.
Tears welled up in my eyes. Thank you! Thank you! I couldn't help but hug him. I put the shirt over my giraffe shirt and smiled.
It's no big deal, Ace shrugged. He looked me over and nodded towards the seating. Should we find our seats?
Our seats were right next to the walkway. I couldn't believe I was going to be so close to Harry, Liam, Zane, Louie, and Niall. I looked at Ace, who was on his phone. I wanted to thank him again, but he had looked so shocked when I thanked him for the shirt. I didn't want to scare him again. The lights dimmed. People around me screamed. I joined in, not believing I was going to be a part of this. And then there they were, Harry and Liam and Zane and Louie and Niall.
Baby, come on over. I don't care if people find out.
I couldn't help but scream again as they started singing Magic, one of my favorite songs. I looked over to Ace again and found him watching the stage with a bored expression. I nudged him and sang along.
'Cause you've got the spell on me. I don't know these songs. Why am I the one singing? You've got the spell on me. I don't know what to believe. Kiss you once now, I can't leave. 'Cause everything you do is magic.
Ace shook his head and let out a laugh.
They say that we're no good together. Stop looking at me like that. You can't do it if you're gonna look at me like that.
I'm sorry.
They say that we're no good together and it's never gonna work out. I want to put it on my record. I want everyone to know now.
I turned my attention back to the boys on stage. I couldn't believe that after all this time, I was that girl in the crowd. Would this change how I saw my poster? I hoped not. Niall came close to where we were sitting and started singing in our direction. Out of instinct, I reached out and grabbed Ace's arm. I expected him to push me away, but he didn't.
Come on, kiss you once now, I can't leave, 'cause everything you do is magic. But everything you do is magic.
As Niall moved on to another part of the stage, I let go of Ace and placed my hand in my lap. What am I doing? I wondered. Why do I keep touching Ace? The boys on the stairs sat on the stairs and my heart quickened. I knew what was coming.
Your hand fits in mine like it's made just for me. But bear this in mind, it was meant to be. And I'm joining up the dots with the freckles on your cheeks. And it makes no sense to me.
I could feel tears welling up in my eyes as they started to sing Little Things. I never thought I would hear the song in person, but here I was. I felt Ace's gaze land on me and looked over to him.
You can't go to bed without a cup of tea, and maybe that's the reason that you talk in your sleep.
Ace smirked at me. I felt my cheeks redden under his gaze. He looked towards the stage, and even though I wanted to look back to see the band I loved the most, I couldn't tear my eyes away from him.
I won't let these little things slip out of my mouth, but it's true. It's you. It's you they add up to. I'm in love with you and all your little things.
I watched the lights from the concert reflect on Ace's skin. His eyes wore an intensity I had never seen in them before, and it was as if he sensed me watching him. He turned to look at me.
If I could fly, I'd be coming right back home to you. I think I might give up everything. Just ask me to. Pay attention. I hope that you listen, 'cause I let my guard down. Right now, I'm completely defenseless.
I his eyes always been this beautiful? I wondered. And then I wondered why I thought that. I could feel my heartbeat quicken, but it wasn't because of the boys on stage. It was because of the boy sitting next to me with the casual expression on his face.
I can feel your heart inside of mine. I feel it. I feel it. I've been going out of my mind. I feel it. I feel it. Know that I'm just wasting time, and I hope you don't run from me.
What is he thinking? I wanted to know what Ace was thinking when he looked at me.
For your eyes only, I'll show you my heart. For when you're lonely and forget who you are, I'm missing half of me when we're apart. Now you know me for your eyes only.
I closed my eyes and let the sound of the concert wash over me. When I opened them, Ace was still there, and he was still looking at me.
Yeah, this is the one song that I do know. So gotta try to sing this one properly. All right.
Nice.
You're insecure, don't know what for. You're turning heads when you walk through the door. Don't need makeup to cover up. Being the way that you are is enough.
Sorry.
Go on.
I felt a smile break out on my face as the boys started singing their last song. I turned back towards the stage just as Leah made his way over to where we sat. He waved. See? I told Ace, he is a sweet person. Ace rolled his eyes.
Everyone else in the room can see it. Everyone else but you.
When the song reached its chorus, I started singing along, and to my surprise, so did Ace. I reached out and took his hand, letting the music take over. We sang to each other.
Baby, you light up my world like nobody else. The way that your hair gets me overwhelmed. But when you smile at the ground, it's hard to tell. You don't know. You don't know you're beautiful. That's going on the internet.
I know. This is going on the internet too. As we left the venue, I couldn't help but jump with joy. I was so happy. I danced in the parking lot and sang along to the crowd of girls leaving the stadium who were singing Best Song Ever. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Ace. That was the best surprise ever. I felt like I was on cloud 9. Ace smirked and we got in his car. On the drive back to the dorm, I talked about all my favorite moments from the concert, leaving out when we held hands at the end. When we pulled up to the dorm, I felt my heart sink a little. I didn't want the night to end. Thank you, Ace, I said. He nodded and pulled something out of the glove compartment, a deck of playing cards. I watched as he fanned them out and held them out to me.
Pick one, he said.
I looked at the card skeptically and picked one. I looked at it. It was blank. Ace turned over the rest of the cards. They were all blank.
No tricks anymore, Rosie. Just me. The real me. That's what's in your future. If you choose me, he said.
Before I could say anything, Ace nodded to my car door.
Catch you later, he said really casually.
As if in a trance, I felt myself getting out of the car and watched as he drove away, the blank card still in my hand. As I started walking inside, I wondered, could I actually have feelings for him?
Author's note. OMG, that would totally be the best date ever. I'm actually a little jealous, lol.
Chapter 11, Girl Talk. Rosalind Jasmine Sapphire's point of view.
Author's note. Get ready for some girl talk. Boys don't interact.
When I got back to my room, Raven was sitting on her bed, looking at a picture of her and Spike on her phone. I sat on my bed and wondered if she was going to acknowledge me. Raven, I said quietly. Raven, are you okay? She locked her phone,
hiding the picture from me. Fine. Are you going to accuse me of cheating too? There was an angry edge to her voice. It wasn't fair. I was only trying to help. I could feel tears in my eyes.
No, I'm going to apologize. I'm sorry I said those things about Spike. Maybe Ernie was wrong. I didn't mean to upset you.
Raven started crying. I'm sorry I talked bad about your pipe cleaner animals. That was mean of me. I was angry and shouldn't have said it.
I was a little hurt that Raven didn't apologize for saying Arnie liked me, when he so obviously didn't, but I was sick of fighting. I just wanted my best friend back. I went over and hugged Raven. She hugged me back.
So, tell me where you've been. Is that a new shirt? Raven asked once we had both stopped crying. I felt myself blushing a little.
I got it at the concert. Ace got it for me, I said quietly.
You went to a concert with Ace? Raven's eyes grew huge.
I told her everything, from when he picked me up to when we sang What Makes You Beautiful together. I left out the part at the very end of the date where Ace made me pick another card because it felt too private and personal to share.
Wow, Raven whispered once I was done talking. It may seem magical, but you do have to remember to be careful with Ace. I don't want you getting hurt.
My heart sank a little when she said that. Was Ace going to hurt me? He had been so nice. He even got me a concert shirt. Would Ace hurt me like Raven said? I hoped not.
Author's note. Oh my god, wasn't that amazing girl talk? Lol, it's so much fun to write, and I wanted it to feel natural, so I hope you liked it.
I don't even know what part of that you were laughing at. I'm gonna be honest.
I was laughing at myself.
Nice. In class the next day, Professor Doggett droned on and on about metaphors and foreshadowing and Pride and Prejudice. I tried to listen, but I had read the book so many times that all of this was old news. I glanced over at Arnie, who looked bored. He looked over at me, as if he could feel my eyes on him. Arnie rolled his eyes. I nodded in agreement. Oh, what a boring class this is, I thought to myself. I looked at my notes, which were covered in various doodles, and set my pen down. I looked at Arnie again. He took a deep breath and opened his eyes really wide as he let it out. I nodded in agreement again. No one else appeared to be listening either. I wondered if everyone else in the class had read the book as much as I had, and that's why they found the lesson boring.
Hey, Arnie whispered. Did you get my text last night?
Oh no, I had totally forgot to reply to Arnie. Before I could reply, Arnie looked at my shirt, his eyebrows coming together in confusion.
Is that a new shirt? He asked.
Yes, Ace got it for me, I whispered. But I'm so sorry, Arnie. I meant to reply, but I completely forgot. Arnie's eyebrows shot up and he looked shocked.
Ace? Pike? He asked.
Yeah, I said, looking down.
Oh, that's good, Rosalind Jasmine Sapphire. Arnie looked back to the front of the classroom. Was it like a date?
Well, sort of.
Oh, he looked sad. I thought you said there was nothing going on between you two. He picked at some tape on his desk. You didn't lie, did you?
I didn't. I promise. I would never lie to you, Arnie. You're my friend.
Arnie nodded sadly. Okay, he said.
I like your shirt, I said, desperate to change the topic. Is it new?
A huge smile broke out on Arnie's face. I watched him try to hide it, but he couldn't. It is new. You're the first person to notice.
I didn't want to tell him his shirt looked like all his other shirts, and maybe that's why no one realized it was new.
I actually thought about you when I got it, Arnie admitted shyly.
What? I asked, not knowing what he meant.
It's chestnut, Arnie explained. Sometimes giraffes have chestnut spots. I know you really like giraffes.
I smiled at him. That's so cool. I wouldn't have noticed if Arnie hadn't said anything. Arnie spends the rest of the class smiling. Arnie told me some more things he had learned about giraffes while we waited in the lunch line. I already knew everything he was telling me, but I didn't want to be rude and interrupt him. While Arnie told me about the giraffe's main diet, leaves, I felt an arm wrap around my waist. For a moment, I thought it was Ace. I felt myself smiling as I turned and came face to face with Spike. That's not Ace, I thought.
Hey babe, Spike said. Want to leave this snooze fest and go bang in the third floor janitor's closet?
I couldn't believe him. I shoved his arm off me. Aren't you dating Raven? I asked in a defiant, angry tone.
Raven schmaven. Who cares? I really like what I'm seeing here.
Then Spike looked at my chest. My cheeks heated in a blush. I crossed my arms and looked at the floor.
Aw, look at you, Spike said. See, I'm impossible to resist. She isn't interested, Arnie said, trying to put himself between Spike and me. But Spike just rolled his eyes at Arnie and shoved him out of the way with one hand. I watched with wide eyes as Arnie stumbled over, losing his footing, and fell right into a trash can. Spike started laughing. How about that, he said. Come on, let's go somewhere else. Raven has class in 10 minutes if you want to go back to yours.
I'll never sleep with you, Spike. You're a mean person, I shouted, then turned to the trash can. Arnie had gone in head first. His legs were flailing wildly in the air.
Help! Arnie screamed. Help! Someone get me out of here!
A bunch of people around us started pointing and laughing. I shot Spike a glare and then went over to try and help. Arnie, don't worry, I said loudly, hoping he could hear me with his head in the trash can. I'll help get you out. I grabbed his legs to try and keep him still, but he was still struggling. And before I knew it, the trash can toppled over sideways. The crowd around us laughed even harder. I pulled the trash can off Arnie. He was covered in garbage. Are you okay? I asked.
He smiled sheepishly. You know, out of all the times I've been pushed into a trash can, this is the first time someone's been there to help me out.
I smiled back and picked a banana peel out of his hair.
Lame, Spike said. Suddenly a girl in short shorts walked by. Spike's eyes tracked her. This isn't over, Rosie. I know you're just playing hard to get and spiky likey.
He followed the girl out of the cafeteria. When his back turned, I stuck my tongue out at Spike. I looked at Arnie. He was pulling strands of spaghetti off his clothes. I helped him clean up, and he smiled at me. Let's get lunch, I said, smiling back. We got back in line. And
that is going to take care of it today. That was rough in spots.
No, the whole thing was beautiful, Will. Come on.
That's true. That was like the most amazing date ever.
Yeah.
All right, well, next time we'll be doing 3 pretty amazing chapters, 12, 13, and 14.
Next week is pretty, like, some of the best chapters there are. So I'm very excited that they're all together.
Hope to see everybody there.
Yes. I'm trying to save you the embarrassment by making this background horrible.
There's no saving me the embarrassment, Claire.
I was trying.